Before there was streaming, before social media and viral videos, there was one man who ruled the world with nothing but his voice, his moves, and an unmatched sense of showmanship: Michael Jackson. From the streets of Gary, Indiana, to the stages of sold-out stadiums, his journey wasn't just a rise to fame, it was the birth of an icon. This channel dives deep into the life, music, controversies, and legacy of the King of Pop. Whether you're moonwalking down memory lane or discovering him for the first time, you're in the right place for the most detailed and fascinating look at the man who forever changed music history. Make sure to subscribe right now and join us as we uncover the real story behind every beat, every step, and every headline. This is the ultimate Michael Jackson experience. Don't miss a second. 1. The young phenomenon, Jackson 5 and the making of a star. Michael Jackson's story begins in a tiny house in Gary, Indiana, where music was a way of life and escape. At just 5 years old, his talent was impossible to ignore. With a powerful voice, magnetic stage presence, and an innate sense of rhythm, he quickly became the center of the Jackson 5. The group signed with Motown in 1968 and exploded with hits like I Want You Back and ABC. Michael's charm, unmatched energy, and emotional delivery set him apart. He wasn't just a cute kid, he was a prodigy. Despite the smiles on stage, life behind the scenes was tough. The Jackson children faced strict discipline and immense pressure under the rule of their father, Joe Jackson. Rehearsals were grueling, but they shaped Michael into a perfectionist. As the Jackson 5 toured and topped charts, Michael became a household name. He absorbed inspiration from James Brown, Jackie Wilson, and Fred Astaire. By the age of 10, he was a superstar in training. Every spotlight prepared him for solo greatness. The stage was his home, and the world would soon know his name. 2. Off the Wall, Michael's first breakthrough as a solo artist. Breaking away from the family act was never going to be easy, but Michael had a bigger vision. In 1979, at just 21, he released Off the Wall, his first true solo album under Epic Records. With the guidance of Quincy Jones, the album combined pop, disco, and soul in a way that felt effortless. Songs like Rock With You, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, and She's Out of My Life became instant classics. The world was now seeing Michael as an adult artist with undeniable talent. His sound matured, but so did his image: polished, slick, and magnetic. The album sold over 20 million copies, earning critical acclaim and multiple awards. Still, Michael felt underappreciated at the Grammys, a snub that would light a fire within him. Off the Wall was groundbreaking not just musically, but culturally. It was one of the first times a young black artist broke into mainstream pop with such power. Michael knew he was just getting started. With Off the Wall, he proved that he wasn't just a former child star. He was a visionary ready to reinvent the game. 3. Thriller, the album that changed everything. In 1982, Michael Jackson released Thriller, and the world would never be the same. It wasn't just an album, it was a cultural earthquake. With tracks like Billie Jean, Beat It, and Thriller, he created music that transcended genre, language, and borders. The album sold over 70 million copies, making it the best-selling album of all time. But it wasn't just about sales. Michael reinvented the concept of a music video with a short film, Thriller, a 14-minute horror band spectacle that shocked and delighted audiences. Music television had no choice but to showcase a black artist front and center, and the world watched in awe. The Moonwalk debuted shortly after and became a global obsession. Michael's image: the glove, the red jacket, the effortless cool became legendary. He wasn't just famous, he was untouchable. Thriller won a record-breaking 8 Grammys and proved that pop could be artistic, cinematic, and globally unifying. Michael had reached a new dimension of stardom, one never seen before. He had become the king of pop, and Thriller was his crown. 4. Bad to the Bone, dominance in the late 80s. After Thriller, expectations were sky-high, and Michael was determined to raise the bar once again. In 1987, he released Bad, a record that showed his hunger, his edge, and his evolution. With hits like Smooth Criminal, Man in the Mirror, Dirty Diana, and the title track Bad, Michael proved he could be bold and experimental while staying on top. The album was accompanied by a series of music videos that felt more like blockbuster films. His fashion became more aggressive: military jackets, zippers, and attitude. Michael's confidence was unmatched. The Bad World Tour became the highest-grossing tour of its time, drawing millions of fans across the globe. With this era, he began taking more control over his creative direction. Man in the Mirror became a social anthem, showing his desire to inspire change through music. He also challenged stereotypes, performing in countries where no major Western artist had ever toured. Bad wasn't just a follow-up, it was a statement of power. Michael wasn't just maintaining fame, he was rewriting what it meant to be a global superstar. 5. Dangerous Vision, reinventing sound and image in the 90s. In 1991, Michael returned with Dangerous, an album that introduced a new sonic world. Teaming up with Teddy Riley, he embraced New Jack Swing, a mix of R&B, funk, and hip-hop. This wasn't just a sound change, it was a complete reinvention. Tracks like Black or White, Remember the Time, and In the Closet blended slick beats with powerful messages. Michael's visuals reached cinematic levels, with music videos that were events unto themselves. Remember the Time featured an all-black cast in ancient Egypt, while Black or White pushed boundaries with face-morphing technology. Lyrically, he tackled racism, global conflict, and personal struggles. Despite facing increased media scrutiny and personal challenges, his artistry remained fearless. The Dangerous Tour broke attendance records and cemented his place as the most electrifying performer alive. Michael was now using his music to confront the world's toughest issues, while still delivering undeniable hits. Dangerous wasn't just a musical pivot, it was a bold, brilliant evolution that proved Michael Jackson was not confined by expectation or convention. 6. The History Era, Legacy, Reflection, and Defiance. In 1995, Michael Jackson released History, Past, Present and Future, Bukai, a powerful double album that served both as a greatest hits collection and a deeply personal new project. The first disc reminded the world of his unmatched impact, while the second revealed an artist at war with the media, society, and his own demons. Tracks like Scream, a duet with sister Janet Jackson, fired back at relentless tabloid attacks. They Don't Care About Us exposed political and racial injustices, while Earth Song showcased his environmental passion. Stranger in Moscow offered a haunting glimpse into his isolation and sadness. The album's themes were raw, emotional, and unapologetic. His short films became more cinematic and symbolic. The History World Tour from 1996 to 1997 was his most elaborate, spanning over 80 shows and reaching millions. Dressed like a military leader and entering on tanks, Michael symbolized both defiance and resilience. This was more than just music. It was his public response to years of criticism and misunderstanding. Despite everything, Michael stood tall, using art as armor. The history era marked a turning point. The legend wasn't just looking back, he was fighting for his truth. 7. The Innovator. Music videos that became cinematic events. Michael Jackson didn't just create music videos, he turned them into experiences. Long before YouTube or viral culture, he knew visuals could elevate a song into something unforgettable. It all began with Thriller, a 14-minute masterpiece that fused horror, dance, and storytelling into a genre-defining short film. But he didn't stop there. Smooth Criminal introduced the anti-gravity lean and a gangster film aesthetic. Black or White broke boundaries with morphing faces and messages about unity. Remember the Time recreated ancient Egypt with stunning sets and Hollywood stars. His videos were not just promotional tools, they were cultural moments. Michael brought in top directors like John Landis, Martin Scorsese, and Spike Lee to ensure cinematic quality. Every detail mattered: wardrobe, choreography, set design, and camera movement. He pioneered techniques still used today, from morphing to multi-angle dance cuts. His influence on modern music videos is undeniable. Beyoncé, Justin Timberlake, Chris Brown, and countless others have followed in his visual footsteps. Michael proved that music could be watched and not just heard. He redefined the possibilities of the music video and raised the bar for the entire industry. 8. The Philanthropist. Healing the world, one act at a time. Beyond his fame, Michael Jackson was a tireless humanitarian. He supported over 39 charities, more than any other pop star in history, often giving quietly and without fanfare. He visited orphanages, donated millions to hospitals, and funded education initiatives across the globe. In 1985, he co-wrote We Are the World, which raised over $60 million for African famine relief. His Heal the World Foundation focused on improving children's lives through healthcare, education, and disaster relief. He also established the Michael Jackson Burns Center and funded research to save lives. Songs like Man in the Mirror, Heal the World, and Earth Song weren't just hits, they were emotional calls to action. Michael once said that children were the world's greatest gift, and he acted on that belief throughout his life. He gave money from tours, album sales, and awards to causes he cared about. Despite media chaos, he remained focused on kindness and impact. His legacy as a philanthropist often goes overlooked, but it's woven into everything he did. For Michael, music was only one way to heal the world, giving was another. 9. Tabloids, trials, and the price of fame. No star in history faced more intense media scrutiny than Michael Jackson. In the 1990s and early 2000s, the press turned from fascination to obsession, fueling narratives that often blurred the line between truth and fiction. Rumors about plastic surgery, his changing appearance, and his private life dominated headlines. The 1993 and 2005 allegations of misconduct led to investigations, trials, and global media frenzy. Despite being found not guilty, his reputation took a massive hit. Paparazzi followed his every move, and his Neverland Ranch became a symbol of both wonder and controversy. Michael's eccentric behavior and soft-spoken demeanor were often misunderstood or sensationalized. The pressure took a toll on his mental and physical health. He became reclusive, increasingly suspicious of the press, and wary of the public. Still, his loyal fans never abandoned him, rallying in courtrooms and across continents. The darker chapters of his life revealed the brutal cost of superstardom. Fame gave Michael the world, but it also became his prison. Through it all, he continued creating, performing, and hoping to be seen not just as a spectacle, but as a human being. The media's obsession with Michael turned invasive, dissecting everything from his parenting style to the contents of his home. Even his generosity was twisted, with kind gestures framed as eccentric or suspicious by headlines hungry for controversy. Each court appearance became a spectacle, overshadowing the human being who walked through the courtroom doors. He once said, "Lies run sprints, but the truth runs marathons," a quote that echoed his endless struggle to be understood despite being exonerated. The emotional toll left scars deeper than any physical wound once he carried until his final days. The irony was cruel. An artist who gave so much joy to the world was haunted by rumors he could never fully escape. Through every scandal, Michael's music remained a lifeline, his lyrics often reflecting the pain of a man judged without mercy. 10. The Final Curtain. Comeback Dreams and a Sudden Goodbye. In 2009, after years away from the spotlight, Michael Jackson announced a final set of shows titled "This Is It" in London. The excitement was overwhelming. Tickets sold out in hours, and fans around the world anticipated the ultimate comeback. Michael was rehearsing intensively, preparing a spectacle that would redefine live performance once again. Behind the scenes, he was driven but exhausted, determined to prove he still had the magic. On June 25, 2009, just weeks before the tour began, the world was stunned by the news of his death at age 50. The cause, acute propofol intoxication, raised questions about those responsible for his care. His passing triggered global mourning on an unprecedented scale. Tributes poured in from fans, artists, and world leaders. Vigils, performances, and documentaries followed, keeping his memory alive. Though gone, Michael's music returned to the charts, and a new generation began to discover his genius. The "This Is It" film offered a glimpse of the artist he still was. His death closed one of the most extraordinary chapters in music history. But his legacy, it lives forever, moonwalking across time. Michael had envisioned "This Is It" not only as a final tour, but a statement to the world that he was still at the top of his game. He surrounded himself with some of the industry's best choreographers, dancers, and designers to craft a performance that would rival anything he'd ever done. Despite signs of fatigue, those close to him described moments where he was vibrant, laughing, and fully immersed in his creative flow. The pressure to succeed was immense, fueled by financial strain, public doubt, and the burden of a lifetime lived under a microscope. His passing left thousands of dancers, musicians, and fans grieving not only for their idol, but for the dream they had rehearsed tirelessly to bring to life. Michael Jackson wasn't just a performer, he was a force that reshaped music, fashion, performance, and humanitarian outreach. From his earliest days with the Jackson 5 to his final curtain call, every note he sang and every step he danced left an unforgettable mark on history. His story is layered with brilliance, complexity, and mystery, and we're just scratching the surface. Thank you for joining us as we uncover the moments, the music, and the magic that defined an icon. There's so much more to explore, so don't miss what's coming next. Subscribe now if you haven't already, and tap the notification bell so you're the first to see every deep dive, every performance breakdown, and every hidden story from the life of the King of Pop. This is more than nostalgia, it's a tribute to a legacy that continues to inspire the world. Stick around, and let's keep Michael's spirit alive together.